Welcome to schattenpv. Today I want to tell my story about how not to build a photovoltaic system. First I want to talk about the points why you should build a photovoltaic system. My main goal was to purchase less electricity, so to achieve cost reduction. Another very important thing today is the environmental protection. And also some independence from the electricity provider, so you don't fear of increasing costs and so on. At the beginning, you have to choose the location. Heading south was very clear to me, and yeah, shadow is not a good thing, but it's not so important, I thought. We will talk about this later. What you can see here is a picture of my house, and on the south side there are some trees. We have to cut them down, and here in this area we want to build the photovoltaic system on the ground. Yeah, what is needed for a photovoltaic system? You need the modules, an inverter, the substructure where to place the modules on, and some space. Let's talk about the photovoltaic modules. You have two choices, and you can buy new modules. They have 350 to 420 watts peak. Some are very big, they have even more watt peak, but these are the usual ones in Germany. And they increased in price the last months, and so nowadays 170 to 250 euro is quite normal. Another solution would be to buy used modules. That's the way I went. And I purchased them last year for 35 euros per module. But today I think you won't get some under 50 euros, often up to 80 euros. There are two main versions of modules: monocrystalline ones and polycrystalline ones. Monocrystalline are better in diffuse light situations, and the polycrystalline ones have less problems with high temperatures outside, but when you don't have direct sunlight, they are not as good as the monocrystalline ones. So let's talk about the modules I've purchased. They are from Canadian Solar. They are monocrystalline ones, which are much better in Germany because we have often clouds and high temperature is not such a big problem as in the south of France. Here are some data about these modules. On this column, these are the 235M. This means they have 235 watts per module. These are the ones I've purchased. And yeah, the other values get important when you have to choose the inverter. So it was clear that I want 8 modules in series. That's what the place is for on the south side of my house. And when you sum up the voltage of the 8 modules, you get to a sum of 297.6 volts, a current from 8.34 ampere, and with the inverter I've chosen, I had to set up one string. That means all modules are in series. This is quite common, but let's have a look if this was a good solution for me. This is the inverter I've chosen, and is the Mic 2000 TLX one. It has enough power to use the 8 modules. Maximum input voltage would be 500 volts, which is no problem because we only have 300 volts. And maximum input current would be 13 ampere, and we only have 8.3. So from the data, everything should be fine. So here we go. This was some image when I was building my system. There were 5 modules, the other 3 were on the right side here, and I was quite happy about it. And yes, when I connected it to the inverter, electricity was coming. Around, on the bad days, 3 kilowatt hours, on the good days 8 to 9 kilowatt hours. Was quite impressive for me, but it was in June. The sun had the highest point of the year, and when I had a look at the data from the GrowWatt app, there was something that looked quite strange. This was a day with some clouds. Unfortunately, I don't have a screenshot from a day without clouds. There you could see the same curve about the day. And what was this in the middle here? It was every day something like this. You had some good earns at 11 o'clock and at 15 o'clock, but in the meantime there was less earned. So what could that be? Perhaps the shadow? Yeah, the root cause was this tree. It's a beautiful Japanese cherry tree. My wife is very proud of it. And so no chance for cutting it down or making it smaller. So we have to live with this. Yeah, what to do now? There's a very good software. It's a German software. It's called PV Soul, and in PV Soul you can simulate the earnments of your PV system. And so let's have a look. This is the outcome of our system, the yellow parts here. And so this is the part we can use from the electricity system. And on the below side here and the darker blue, you see what is energy that could not be used at the moment, so it's flowing into the grid. It's only 25% on the good months, and in the winter it's even less. In a wonderful world, it would look like this. We have our house and the energy system here, the photovoltaic system here. So how could it be? From a financial view, in the 6th year we have the return on invest, and in 21 years we would have an earning of more than 3,000 euros. This would be nice. This is an curve about the earning per year, per month. And these orange dots, this is what I read from the GrowWatt app, what was it in real life. So June was nearly as expected, but you can see with July, August and September it was 2/3 or even only the half of the calculated earning. Though this was not as what I expected. Yeah, what is the real world? In the real world, there is a tree here, a tree here, a garage, and a house from the neighbor, and also a house from the other neighbor, but I don't think this is a problem for the system. So we can have a look to the energy flow diagrams. Without shading, the earning from our PV system would be 897 kilowatt hours. And with shading, with the trees, it's only 604 kilowatt hours. So 30% less because of the tree, the house and the garage. So is the computer right? Now we have the curve here with shading. In June we were better than the curve, but you can see again in July and especially August and September, when the sun gets lower, we have much problems and it's not nearly as calculated. So what can we do now? Was all for nothing? No, I don't think so. We have a solution. The root cause of the problem is the tree and also the long string of 8 modules in one string. If the shadow gets to one string, the complete system is not working nearly as good as without shadow. So also the modules without shade gets lowered down because of the one module with shade, because they are in one string. So solution number 1 would be to use a microinverter where every module has its own inverter. I have it on my other system on the north side of the house, on the carport, working. I'm very impressed from the system. It works like a charm, not nearly as bad as the one with the Growatt inverter, but I would like to go another way. The energy flow diagram here is what PV Sol calculated with the microinverters, and it's even less than with the string inverter with shading. I don't know why this gets such a bad value, but we will have a look later. Solution number 2 is to use the Victron MPPTs, and my idea was to use 2 of this and to do so like a microinverter solution with 2 from these small MPPTs. These MPPTs are no inverters, they charge a battery. And in the meantime I had a little ESS system from Victron with Photovoltaic batteries, and so it was for me another solution. It was a cheap solution. Each one of this is about 100 euros, a bit more, and I could charge the batteries without converting to AC and back to DC, and so the losses are very small. How could we connect the modules to this MPPT? Yeah, we have 2 strings about 2 modules. This means 2 modules in series and 2 modules parallel on the PV input here. 2 serial, 2 parallel, 2 strings. This is what I built up. And after the conversion to the Victron MPPT, we have something like this. With the Growatt inverter, with the exception of June, we were very far below that line. And now, in every month, we were above this line. And so this was a change I didn't expect, but I'm happy about it. So let's talk about kilowatt hours from the Victron portal. These are no calculations in this table. These are real world values I've measured in 2022 or in the late 2001 here for the last 2 months. And so in May we had more than 200 kilowatt hours. This is the dot I've placed here, and it's 50% more than expected. So for conclusion, PVSol is a nice program for calculating, but with the microinverters and shadowing, it's not the best. It's not like the real world is. String inverters without shadow fixing, but I guess, I'm not really sure, but I guess also with shadow fixing are not a good solution when it comes to shadow problems. So for conclusion, when you have something to do with shadowing, use microinverters or something like I've done with the small MPPTs, but don't build up big strings with shadow. This is a main failure. So I hope you liked the video. So give a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell so you don't miss my next videos. Hope to see you soon. Helmut.